Welcome to the Face of Music podcast. What's up, everybody? My name is Matt, and I'm your host. Welcome to week 24. As always, we have the top 10 songs of the week, news from around the metal world, and I am so excited about today's special guest. Let's have some fun today, guys. You ready? Let's do it. Welcome to the Face of Music podcast, everybody. What's up? How's it going? I'm feeling good. I'm super excited for today's show. I got a fresh new haircut thanks to my boy Kai down at Iron and Tread Barbershop in Sayville, Long Island. Friends, go down there, give them your business. I've been going there for a few years now. They're fantastic. I hope everybody had a great week. I hope you enjoyed last week's podcast, and I hope you're ready for today's episode. Today, we have a guest who needs no introduction, but I'm absolutely going to give him one anyway. He's a legend in the metal world, one of the best drummers to ever grace the kit. He's played with Flotsam and Jetsam. He's played with Overkill. He's subbed in with Anthrax, with Prong. He's currently the drummer of supergroup Category 7, featuring other metal titans such as Phil Demmel, formerly of Machine Head and Violence. He's also Kerry King's solo band guitarist now. John Bush of Armored Saint and Anthrax. Mike Orlando, formerly of Adrenaline Mob, and Jack Gibson of Overkill. The longest tenured drummer for legendary New England metal band Shadows Fall, Jason fucking Bittner, joins us on the show today, everybody. This has been in the works for a long time, probably about 2 months now. And last Friday, as I was just starting to edit last week's episode, Jason messaged me and said, "Hey, I got time. I can do this in 1 hour." So I immediately, of course, who wouldn't, I dumped everything, hopped on the call with Jason, and we did the interview for this week's episode. So if you were wondering, that's why last week's episode was pushed to Saturday. I am sure all of you can understand when opportunity knocks, you answer. Now, speaking of opportunity knocking, guys, I am booked up now through the end of September. So if you have something that you want to come on and talk about or promote, don't wait to hit me up. Dates are filling up fast. I'm also interviewing a week before your episode will come out now, so keep that in mind as well. Hit me up on the Face of Music Instagram page or email me anytime at the ftmpod@gmail.com. Next week, I will have Jason from the New York City metalcore band I Kill You on the show. Great conversation, great band. They've been around for over 20 years now. I saw them, probably 2017, 2018, opening for Avatar at St. Vitus. And they made such an impression on me that one night that I've never really forgotten about them since. So it's kind of cool what a band can do for you. But go check them out. You have 1 week to get familiar with them, and I have an awesome conversation with Jason for you next week. For all my first-time listeners, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Face of Music family. You picked a really good episode to start with. I couldn't be happier to have you here. When you're listening, it's our time to just hang out together and forget about all the insanity of life. Forget about all the negativity, all the bullshit. Leave it at the door. It doesn't matter here. This is a politics-free, worry-free, stress-free podcast. I'm here to talk with you about all things hard rock and metal music, expose you to some fantastic music every week, including at least 3 unsigned artists, and bring you some fun and entertaining discussions from artists that you may not know to artists that you already do. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy. For all of my returning listeners, welcome back, my friends. Thank you for listening week after week, and thank you for joining me once again on another episode of the Face of Music podcast. You guys know what's up by now. You know what I'm all about. Much love to you all. I am so thankful and lucky to have your support. You know what I really love about this? When people tell me that they've discovered a new band because of the podcast, or that they learned something from an interview or something that I've said. That's a really fucking good feeling, guys. And it has happened to me more than a few times at this point. I love to hear it. Now, for a smooth segue, for listeners new and old, I just have a favor to ask you. I ask every single week, and humbly, I need your help spreading the word about the podcast. Big shout outs, as always. Every week you see the same people sharing it up. Dead Within Days, Gavel Down, Riff Haven Audio, Moon Groove Records, Oceanside, Rob Moon. All of you guys, every week, thank you so much for sharing everything I post. I see you. You guys are incredible. You will always have my support. Thank you so much. So if you're listening right now, you're already doing the one thing that I want everybody to do, and that is to listen to the show. Now, if you wouldn't mind, though, aside from listening to the show, there's just a couple things that you could do a little extra that really, truly helps me even more. And I promise you, every single one is free and easy and takes no time at all. So, number one, follow the podcast and listen every week. You are here. This is what we're doing right now. Number two, follow the Instagram and Facebook pages. Comment on posts. If you see a poll or a question, vote on something. Ask the question. Doesn't matter what it is. Engagement helps. This may be my podcast, but this is our community. And I like including you guys. I like hearing what you guys have to say. So please, by all means, give me your input and give me your suggestions, and they'll appear on a show. I'm sure of it. Lastly, number three, share the page or a post. So if you're listening right now, you definitely know somebody else who would also enjoy this. So spread the word and tell them what's up. That's how we create and we grow a community. And if you did all three of these things, it costs you nothing. It helps me, and it helps grow your scene. Any scene. This doesn't have to be just specific to Long Island. It's not a Long Island podcast. I live here. That's it. This is for all the hard rockers. This is for the metalheads, for anyone who shares a love and passion for this kind of music. I feature unsigned bands every week from all over the world. You or someone you know could find your new favorite band right here. I really only promote the bands that I truly feel bring something to the table, something worth paying attention to. So I promise, if you hear a band on the show, I won't waste your time. And likewise, I'm not one to really waste a band's time either. I am not one to lie and blow smoke up somebody's ass and say, yeah, you're so great, and then they're actually really not. So if you hear them on the show, I promise you it's the highest caliber that I could deliver, and that I see something in every single band I tell you about. I hope you found some awesome new bands to listen to because of this podcast. I know that there's been 220 different, actually probably this week we're 24, so 240, at least 240 different songs that are on the playlist, and I would say about a third of those come from unsigned artists. So go check it out. Listen to everything. You will find music to listen to. I promise, it's out there. I appreciate all the love and support, guys. I will never take that for granted. I started this podcast back in February. We're about 6 months in, so it isn't really so new anymore. It's under a year old, but it's not, I've been around the block a few times with it at this point. We're 22 episodes deep, but this is a result of a major life change, losing my job. I've talked about it on the show here and there, and it's still pretty upsetting all these months later. It is kind of beating the dead horse at this point, but, it is kind of what it is, right? It was a pretty traumatic thing, truthfully, and it's one of those things you don't see coming. It's unprecedented, and it blindsides you when it does, and especially if you have roots in something, it hurts even more to have it taken away from you. But it wasn't just a job for me. I gave my heart and soul to it for a very long time, and it set back a lot of the positive life changes that were in motion for my wife and I this year. To keep it 100% honest with you, I was extremely depressed. My anxiety was through the roof. I had no idea how I was going to make my next move. So I found a lot of solace in starting this podcast. It helped me out when it comes to just talking it out, to let go of what was keeping me down in life, and it allowed me to grow and discover a bit more about myself, very much like seeking therapy. A therapist will listen, they will ask questions, and they'll help you see things from a new perspective. They can give you advice and techniques on how to make positive changes in your life. BetterHelp is the sponsor of this video, and they're on a mission to make starting therapy easier. Fill out a questionnaire, and you will match with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. Easily switch therapists at any time at no extra cost to you if it's not the right fit. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/face2music and get 10% off your first month of therapy. You guys ready for the week 24 top 10? Well, this week comes as a special list. We have a few suggestions from Mr. Jason Bittner on this list. I asked him during the interview, and you'll hear that later on, to pick 5 songs that he feels really sculpted him as a musician, as an artist. So he gave me those 5 songs, and they are incorporated on today's top 10. So aside from those 5, there's also some hand-picked ragers on there. You ready for this week's top 10? Let's get after it. You guys know the drill. After you hear the top 10, unfortunately, YouTube's a pain in the ass. They won't allow me to upload any music without getting copyright flagged out the ass. So you won't hear any of the clips on YouTube, but you will hear them on Spotify. And as always, you can listen to the full songs on the Face the Music Top 10s playlist over on Spotify. The code will be at the end of the top 10, and it's also in the link that's on all of my socials. As I said before, there is at this point well over 240 songs. That's over 17 hours of music from artists you know to artists that fully deserve your attention, so please go check it out. So while this week's top 10 is half brought to us by Jason Bittner and half handpicked, there is one theme that resonates through every single band that you'll hear on the show today. The theme is absolutely phenomenal drummers. That doesn't take away from the other members of these bands, but the focus is on the heartbeat today. We will be hearing from Slayer, from Anthrax, from Fate's Warning, Rush, Iron Maiden, Yosemite in Black, Monolith Zero, Dream Theater, More of Myself to Kill, and Gojira. If you guys are ready, let's jump right in. Starting us off this week at number 10, we have Iron Maiden. Now, Iron Maiden was the only band picked by Jason that didn't have a specific song mentioned, so we're going to throw my all-time favorite Maiden song in here. A song that's definitely outside the norm in terms of what someone would call a favorite, but outside of Number of the Beast, it was one of the first Maiden songs that I ever heard, and I thought it was so powerful, so incredibly badass. And after years and years of listening to this song, I never knew that Nico wasn't using a double bass pedal on this one until Jason took me straight to school on that. You'll hear us talk about that in the interview too. But the playing is so smooth, but what else can even be expected from Nico? At number 10 this week, this is Iron Maiden kicking things off with The Wicker Man. Number 9. This is a band that I featured once a couple months back. They're from Atlanta, Georgia. They are self-proclaimed hippie metal. I saw them play with Resistor and Path We Choose a couple months ago, and they had my fucking jaw hitting the floor. Never in my life have I seen a band tear up a stage like this. If you guys remember who I'm talking about, it's Yosemite in Black. These guys had an amazing 2025 so far. They finished the tour up with Crown Magnetar and Traders, and then they hopped a plane to Copenhagen for the Copenhagen Festival. They absolutely destroyed. They posted a video of their performance, and honestly, it was one of the best circle pits I've seen a band run. Shit was absolutely gigantic. Yosemite is absolutely going to take off, and way more than they already have. Keep your eyes and ears open for them. They're going to be a big name in metal. One thing that really drew me in about their performance, though, aside from the frontman's dancing, was their drummer. For a straight half hour, just laying down some of the fattest groove. These dudes, I need them to come back to New York. So if on the off chance, Yosemite Black, if you guys are listening, get your asses back up here. We got to party again. They were incredible, and I can't speak highly enough about them. At number 9 this week, from the ATL, this is Yosemite in Black with Bite. Number 8, this is another recommendation by Mr. Jason Bittner. We're bringing it back to the 90s. The band is Fates Warning out of Hartford, Connecticut, and they are known for being one of the pioneering bands for the prog metal genre, alongside of Dream Theater and Queensryche. And they were pretty integral in surfacing or bringing to the forefront American power metal. The band drew heavy influences from Iron Maiden as well as other bands from the new wave of British heavy metal. Back in '94, Fates Warning was releasing Inside Out, which was their 7th studio album, which also saw the band earn an opening spot for Dream Theater on their Awake tour in the US and Europe. Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater stated in 2005, very often fans and critics credit Dream Theater for creating a whole new genre of progressive metal in the late 80s and early 90s, but the truth is Fates Warning were doing it years before us. Hell of an endorsement from a drum god. The drummer on Inside Out was Mark Zonder, who was with the band from 1988 till about 2005 when he left the band and was replaced by Nick I can't say his name, Nick DiVirgilio, who was replaced in 2007 by Bobby Jarzombek, who is the band's current drummer as well. Fates Warning carries so much groove. They're atmospheric, but they're heavy. They're great songwriters and incredible musicians. Please go check them out. They've been around forever, guys, and like they're a little newer to me too. But dude, it's every sound I love about prog metal. It reminds me so much of that early Dream Theater sound. It's so vibey. It's so cool. You have so much material to choose from these guys. They've been around forever. They've released 13 studio albums between 1984 and 2020. At number 8 this week, we have Fates Warning off of 1994's Inside Out. This, as selected by Jason Bittner, is Monument. Number 7, from Long Island, New York, one I will say this band is one that I've talked about a few times. They've been featured on our top 10 one other time, but when it comes to incredible drummers, I simply cannot leave this band out. The band is More of Myself to Kill, or Mom TK as they are known around here, and the drummer for this band is Joe Valaki. Go follow Joe on his Instagram page. The dude is posting almost daily just videos of him playing drums, just absolutely fucking shredding it. Joe, dude, he's legitimately incredible, and I'm such a fan. Joe lays down some incredible grooves, but also just he has fun doing what he does, jamming everything from Mom TK's music to literally the stuff that's on his girlfriend's playlist, and he has fun, man. He's always into it. He always loves what he does, and he's fucking incredible. Joe, big shout out, homie. Keep doing what you do. Go check out Joe. Go check out More of Myself to Kill, and also shout out to Jake, who not only fronts Mom TK but also other friends of the show, Tethered, as well. And I interviewed them a few weeks back as well. All of those guys are equally as just tremendous musicians. At number 7 this week, this is More of Myself to Kill with Sorrow. At number 6, of course, I have to include the boys in Monolith Zero on here. Dan has been the thunder of this band for a long time, and man, this kid is just a gift to all things music. He's a multi instrumentalist, and he is incredible at every single thing he does. Dan, I'm such a fan, buddy. Like, it's awesome being someone who is that talented, and Monolith, I mean, they're a band I've had on the show before. I've interviewed them. I've featured their music a bunch, and they always just blow my mind. Nick writes the songs, and just he surrounds himself with the most top tier musicians that this island has to offer. I can't say much more about this band than I already have, just to avoid running in circles, but I truly love these dudes. They're consistent, they're unbelievably talented, they're great people. Nick is without a doubt one of the best songwriters that I've ever met. It's a pleasure watching their come up, knowing these guys from the beginning to where they are now, and they're only just getting started. This is the brand new one from Monolith Zero. At number 6, this is Haven. Number 5, I legitimately will be doing this song and band a disservice by trying to tell you anything about this band because you should already know about them. And if you don't know this band or this song, fuck, both even, I want to know what rock you've been living under. As chosen by Jason Bittner, I'm not saying anything else. Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, Neil Peart at number 5. This is Rush with Tom Sawyer. Number 4. This band has deep roots right here on Long Island. From Kings Park, we have John Petrucci. From Great Neck, we have Jordan Rudess. From Long Beach, we have Mike Portnoy. And then from Chicago, we have John Mayung. And from a name that I refuse to even attempt to pronounce, from Ontario, is James Labrie. I am talking about Dream Theater. Dream Theater formed in Boston at the Berklee School of Music back in 1985. Jordan and James are the only non-original members of the band, and Petrucci and Mayung are the only two who've been consistently in the band since its inception. Portnoy left the band in 2010 while he was touring with Avenged Sevenfold on the Nightmare album cycle, and he was replaced by Mike Mangini. But back in 2023, Mike Portnoy came back to the band. The band celebrates 40 years of music this year. They have not really ever stopped touring, which is actually part of the reason why Mike Portnoy left. He cited exhaustion and he just needed a break. The band wanted to keep going. Things fell apart. They went their separate ways. But I'm so happy that they've found their way back together. I love Mangini. He is he's one of the best drummers alive. He's so gifted. He's so incredible. But Portnoy, that's his baby. That's his band. So as much as I loved seeing Mangini behind the kit with Dream Theater, it's time for Portnoy to come home. Now, earlier this year, they released their first album with Mike Portnoy since 2009's Black Clouds and Silver Linings. This album was titled Parasomnia. I featured a song from this album, I think it was week 2 or week 3 of the podcast. It was basically as soon as the album came out, I had a song from it on the top 10, because why the fuck wouldn't I? I love Dream Theater. I'm a huge fan of theirs. Dream Theater are a band of true virtuoso musicians. They're just masters of their crafts. If you follow Jordan Rudess on his Instagram or any social media page, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The guy just can't pick one instrument to be good at. He's got to be playing fucking guitar one-handed, and then with he'll be soloing on a guitar with his left hand, and with his right hand he's on the keyboard doing the same shit, doubling it. Like, dude, I'm sorry, you can only be that good at one thing legally, I think. But aside from that, I want to focus on Portnoy for a second. Everybody better be familiar with this name, because he's done everything from Dream Theater to the Winery Dogs to Adrenaline Mob to Twisted Sister, Liquid Tension Experiment, Avenged Sevenfold. Portnoy is a god-tier drummer. He's one of the most innovative I've ever heard, and despite playing through some of the most insane and intricate time signature switches and complex song arrangements, he makes it look easy. He's one of my favorite drummers, and your number 4 song of this week is also my all-time favorite Dream Theater song. Off of the Train of Thought album, at number 4, this is Dream Theater with Honor Thy Father. Let's just do a quick recap before we jump into our top 3 songs of week 24. So, at number 10, we had Iron Maiden with The Wicker Man. Number 9, we had Yosemite in Black with Bite. Number 8, we had prog metal elite Fate's Warning with Monument. Number 7, we have More of Myself to Kill with Sorrow. Number 6, we have Monolith Zero's new single Haven. Number 5, we had the legendary Rush with Tom Sawyer. And at number 4, we had prog metal powerhouse's Dream Theater with Honor Thy Father. Our number 3 song of the week is also a pick from Jason Bittner. Again, songs that influenced and sculpted him as an artist. 5 of his picks from this week will be half of our countdown. This band, legendary California thrash band who started in 1981, formed by Kerry King, Dave Lombardo, Jeff Hanneman, and Tom Araya, Slayer. The first album from the band is Show No Mercy. It came out all the way back in 1983. Hell Awaits came out in 1985, and 1 year later, the band dropped probably their most famous album to date, Rain and Blood. This album had Criminally Insane, Postmortem, Raining Blood, and the song that kicked off this absolutely batshit crazy album. It was so ruthlessly heavy, it was fast. Tom Araya's iconic scream, the song Angel of Death. This was some of Dave Lombardo's finest playing. His double bass work was fucking insanity, and at about 4 minutes and 23 seconds into the song, we have the legendary drum solo that sets the pace for the remainder of the song, showing how fast Dave's feet are actually moving. This is long before these crazy techniques were developed. This was just straight ones and twos on the pedals, and holy shit. Legendary song, legendary band. At number 3 this week, this is Slayer with Angel of Death. Number 2, our final pick by today's special guest, a band that we talked about extensively during the interview, and how much influence the drummer of this band has had on Jason. The band is Anthrax, and the drummer, of course, is Charlie Benante, one of the most underrated drummers out there. Charlie is a fucking maniac on the kit. If you really listen to Anthrax, if you really focus on the drums, you'll be floored at the things that Charlie is doing, the things that he was at the forefront of doing. Out of New York, Anthrax joined Slayer, Megadeth, and Metallica to form the Big Four of thrash metal. Anthrax can also take credit for the pseudo start of nu metal, combining rap and metal with the truly legendary track Bring the Noise with Public Enemy. I'm beyond positive when I say this that just about everyone here right now knows that song, whether it be because it's fucking awesome or because you played a lot of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as a kid, teen, adult. Shit. Let's be real. It's a great game. I still play it. Whatever. Don't judge me. Charlie is also drumming currently for Pantera, and as expected, completely crushes Vinnie Paul's parts. Charlie is known as one of the fastest, most precise, cleanest players in the game, and at no point in his career would you have any reason to ever think differently. At your number 2 spot today, this is a song that perfectly captures that sentiment with some of the best and most thunderous drumming. This is Anthrax off of their 1987 album Among the Living. This is the title track, Among the Living. And finally, our number 1 song of week 24. In recent years, there's been quite a few drummers standing out among the rest. The next generation of drumming legends is starting to emerge. Names like Eloy Casagrande of Slipknot, formerly Sepultura, Chris Wallerstedt of Orbit Culture, Morgan Rose of Sevendust, Austin Archie, Luke Holland, fuck 2 from Sleep Token. Drummers that are the future clinicians and current clinicians One name really has risen pretty high and pretty quickly over the last few years, and deservedly so. The name is Mario Duplantier. Mario is the absolute machine that drums for French metal band Gojira. Gojira have been around for quite a while now, but their popularity has only gotten bigger through the years, and after last year's Olympic Games opening ceremony, they really can't be touched. Gojira needs to be consistently headlining festivals. They need more US dates too, just from a purely selfish standpoint. But they are a top tier band. Mario is one of the best drummers breathing air right now, and that's why they've earned your number one spot for week 24. Mario is leading the next generation of drum legends, in my opinion. At number one, this will have you snapping your fucking neck. This is Gojira off of 2005's From Mars to Sirius. This is the heaviest matter of the universe. You can check out the full songs on the Face the Music Top 10s playlist on Spotify by either searching or scanning the code that's on your screen now. All right, guys, we have some show announcements. We have Friday, August 22nd at City Sound Studios, Ronkonkoma, New York. This is tonight. So we have Hive Mind, Rominer, Rose Lane, Rat Blood, and Lost Becomes. This is going to be a crazy ass show. I'm still going to try my absolute hardest to get to this one. Money's tight as fuck, but whatever. I've still never seen Lost Becomes. And that sucks, but I'm trying really hard. So this is going to be their last one in the area for quite a while, from what I understand. This is an 18 and up event, $18 to get in. The show starts at 6:30. I do want to mention this is a dry show. So, to anyone attending the show, please respect the venue. I feel like this shouldn't have to be said, but I'm going to keep saying it. Truth be told, fans fuck it up for the rest of us pretty often. The bands know what we have in a venue. We don't take venues for granted. Any performer who's ever set foot on a stage respects the venue. Fans, not so much. There's been a lot of venues that have closed due to fan activity, people kicking holes in walls or breaking shit. Just don't be a dick, guys. Like, Long Island is sincerely running out of venues, so please respect the venue. Don't show up drunk or high. Don't break shit. Have a great night. Show up for these awesome bands. Now, one day later, August 23rd, we have a free show happening at Shakers in Oakdale. Cross Island Connect, run by my dude Sam from Bleed the Gods, is celebrating their 3-year anniversary. In Lucid Dreams is dropping their brand new album, and they have a stellar lineup behind them, with PHO making their Long Island debut. We also have Moonwaves, Valifor, and the return to the stage of Monolith Zero. Go check out Monolith's brand new song. It's their newest song is Haven, but the most recent video release they have is for Neurotoxin. So go check that out. Again, this is free. At Shakers in Oakdale, there is no door charge. Go and enjoy yourself. It's 18 and over. It kicks off at 6 p.m. and it's a great, solid night of music. Congrats to In Lucid Dreams on the album release, and big congrats to Cross Island Connect for 3 years in business. Way to go, Sam. The next show has been a growing annual tradition for years now. Every year, 3 bands put on their annual Monster Mosh Halloween show. The bands are all friends of the Face and Music podcast. We have Resist the Temptation, Dead Within Days, and Pathmaker. Every year, same location, Polish American Independent Club in Port Jeff, New York. This year, they have Terrigenous opening the show, both with Both Resist the Temptation and Dead Within Days are releasing their EPs at this show. Pathmaker will be headlining that night as well. Tickets are $20. Each band performs a full set and usually throws a few covers in there. Oh, shit. Knocked over my mic. Usually throws a few covers in as well. Pathmaker is also known to do some pretty fun shit. Costumes are heavily encouraged. It's a Halloween-themed show. There's a costume contest. All of this takes place on November 1st, 2025, which is a Saturday, so there are no excuses to not go to this event. Now, this will most likely sell out, so do not wait to get your tickets. Contact any of the bands for tickets, and with admission, you get all non-alcoholic beverages included for the entire night. The show starts at 7 p.m. I will see you guys there. There's not a whole lot in music news this week, folks, but right before recording, I did learn some incredibly tragic news. And I hate that I have to keep bringing you guys bad news. I really fucking hate it. But Brent Hines, formerly of Mastodon, was unfortunately killed in a motorcycle accident. The driver of a BMW SUV failed to yield while making a turn, which caused a collision and sadly ended up taking the life of Brent Hines. I am legitimately shocked over this, as is the entire metal world right now. My heart goes out to everybody. Rest in peace, Brent. He was 51 years old. Guys, today's special guest, man, he is legitimately one of the best to ever sit behind the kit. From his drum clinics to Modern Drummer and Drumeo, to his work with Flotsam and Jetsam, Overkill, filling in with Anthrax, the new and absolutely incredible powerhouse group Category 7, featuring Mike Orlando, Phil Demmel, John Bush, and Jack Gibson, and of course, the legendary New England metalcore band Shadows Fall. I am so proud to bring to the show one of my all-time favorite drummers from one of my all-time favorite bands. This is such an honor for me. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Mr. Jason fucking Bittner.
So first and foremost, dude, thank you so much for doing this.
No problem. Sorry it's taken a million years for us to actually get it together. It's just
man.
one thing after another. Like I said, I'm not on Instagram like 17 million times a day like a lot of people. Like I usually just go in there one time and take a look. And by the time I check the message, I forget. I'm like, oh, we said Thursday and it's already Friday.
Yeah. That happens, man. You've had so much shit going on this year. Like I can't get mad at you, man. First things first, welcome to the Face of Music podcast. It is an honor to have you. For anyone watching, Jason Bittner, legendary drummer, Shadows Fall, of Overkill. The list goes on, man. You've had such a huge career. So this is
Thank you.
Pretty cool, man. So now just to jump right in, man. What got you started playing drums? Like what made you want to do this professionally?
I don't know what I can't pinpoint a thing that said I want to do this professionally, let's say.
Okay.
The thing that made me want to be in a band was Kiss. But, from like the age of 5. But I wanted to be Gene Simmons. I didn't want to be Peter Criss. I wanted to be the guy that was blowing the fire. So like when I first started picking up instruments, I had like a toy guitar, I had toy drum sets, blah 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 blah. I think the point that I knew I wanted to be a musician was when I was very young. It was when I went to my aunt's wedding, and I was probably like maybe 7 or 8, and I just watched the band, and like I talked with the trumpet player like on every break. I just like was like his best friend. I was like inseparable with this guy because he's just a nice guy, and I was enthralled by the gear and everything. So I think that's where I knew I wanted to be a musician. I think. But I have pictures like literally of me like smashing on my grandmother's garbage cans out in the backyard when I was like 3 with like sticks. So somewhere there was this innate desire to play drums, and I don't know where it came from because it wasn't like I came from a musical family. I'm the first one, and it was just something I was driven to want to do, and probably because it was the only thing I was good at when I was a kid too. I was terrible. I was just shitty at sports. I played baseball. When I played baseball, I was the minimum 3 innings, 1 at bat, throw him in right field because he's lucky if he can catch the fucking ball. Yeah, but I can play the shit out of a Rush song though. So that was that was my my inner calling, I guess you could say.
So, who were some of your earliest influences to playing drums? I know you just mentioned Rush, obviously Neil Peart.
The first drummer that I took notice of was Keith Moon.
Okay.
Because because of the way he was, and my dad was a big Who fan, so like I heard Who's Next a lot in the house, and I used to just love the cover. It's like they're peeing on the wall. But I just remember the bombast of "Won't Get Fooled Again." I was like, oh, that's awesome. And that was the first time I think that I really started paying attention to drummers. And then as I was a kid, as I progressed through being a kid, I got hugely into Stuart Copeland once, MTV started. But as soon as I was getting into Stuart Copeland, I was also discovering this band called Iron Maiden that I saw too. So then it was going that way. But like the first drummers that I took notice of really were Keith Moon, Ginger Baker, and Mitch Mitchell, because my mom was listening to Cream and Hendrix. So I was listening to all these great drummers, and then the double drummer bands throughout the 70s that my dad was listening to, Skinner, the Allman Brothers, 38 Special, all that kind of stuff. So my influences were across the board as a kid, just musically. But my first drumming god, I think, like the first guy that I was like, this is the guy I'm going to fixate on for a little while, was Stuart Copeland. And that was like 6th grade or so. And then as soon as I saw Iron Maiden, that sent me down the metal path. So then it was just, still like, learning from all the other genres of music and trying to be as well-rounded as possible. But I was a total Maiden freak. And then around, I don't know, maybe somewhere between 8th and 9th grade, the kid across the street with me, his older brother, we were in middle school. We were just like last year in middle school, 8th grade, and he was like a senior in high school. And like, we went in his room one day and we're like, what are you listening to? And he had Cygnus on. Oh no, he had Farewell. I'm sorry. He had Farewell of Kings on. And I just remember looking at the album cover and I was like enthralled by it. And then I heard the drums. I was like, what the living Christ was that? And from that moment on, Neil Peart became my favorite drummer ever and still is. So
that's awesome, man.
There you go.
You don't hear a lot of people.
And then the Holy Triumphant, which was Lombardo, Benante, and Ulrich. So
yeah. You don't really hear a lot of people mention Stu Copeland, and it's criminal. He's such a good drummer. And Keith Moon, dude. I mean, that was my first step towards heavier music at the time. My uncle was still is huge into the Who, but he gave me Quadrophenia and Who's Next and like all these albums. He's like, you need to listen to this. You need to listen to Keith Moon. You need to listen to Roger Daltrey. And dude, it sent me down the rabbit hole with the Who. I still love them, and it's crazy they're hanging it up. But like, I mean, I don't know how much more they have in the tank anyway.
Crazy? No. You want to know what's crazy? You want to know what's crazy? Is I'm 55 years old, and I remember in 1980 when you probably weren't even born yet.
Truth.
Right? Okay. 1980, I was 10 years old, and you know what I listened to live on the radio from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m.? The Who's farewell concert
Oh
in
my God.
1980. It's taken him 45 years to finally retire.
Yeah. If you put it that way, dude.
Dude, it was the final concert. I was 10 years old. It was the It's Hard tour. I remember it like it was yesterday. I listened to the whole thing at my dad's house. I taped it on cassette from the radio, and the Who was breaking up. And here we are 45 years later, and here we finally are.
And they're still breaking up.
And it's still breaking up. God bless them, though. But I've read all the stuff. I mean, Roger's really he's really worried about making it through the tour.
It sounds like he's having a bit of a rough go.
It sucks to have that feeling, dude. I've had that feeling one too many times in my life on the tour.
Yeah.
With all the fucking repetitive strain issues and shit that I've dealt with whatever limb or body part that it's been on a tour. There's nothing worse than having that in your head of going, God, I hope I get through the show tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be a shitty feeling, dude. I can't relate to it, but I can only imagine it's got to be scary.
Well, it's just like being a professional athlete. Like if you for example, I threw my back out before the Black Crusade tour in 2007, which was Shadows Fall, Machine Head, Trivium, Arch Enemy, Dragon Force, and I had thrown my back out, and I didn't realize to the extent of what I did, and it was so bad that, and once I got home and went to physical therapy, I got through everything, healed up and got fine. But I had to deal with 6 weeks in Europe of just fucking feeling like my right foot was on fire every night that I got on stage. Like by the third song, it would feel like I had my foot inside a campfire because it just, the nerve was just killing me so bad. Yeah. So it sucks when you, but what are you supposed to say? Sorry guys, can't go on. No, you got to do it. You just got to deal with it and go, oh Christ, how many more shows until the day off? All right. 2 more. Oh, all right. I can make it,
Yeah.
Terrible feeling.
Yeah, I'm sure that, and especially on a tour like that, you definitely feel the pressure on a tour like that.
Yep, absolutely.
You had mentioned the what did you call it? The triad before of like Lombardo.
The holy trinity of thrash metal,
yes.
which for me was Lars first, then Dave, then Charlie. Because I heard Metallica first, I heard Slayer second, and then I heard Anthrax.
So
that's no diss. That's no diss to Gar. If someone goes, "Well, how come he doesn't say the whole Big Four?" Gar was a great drummer, but Gar didn't influence me. Gar did not have the feet that Charlie Benante had.
Right.
So.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with that either.
Nope. But none of those guys had the jazz chops that Gar had. So there you go.
Truth. I did want to mention, speaking of Lars, I noticed this. You posted, I think it was Sonic Temple of this year. You posted a picture with Lars.
Yep.
And that's the coolest thing in the entire world to me, man. Lars is like way up here for me.
That's like the 5th time I've hung out with him since '86. The first time I met him was fucking 1986, believe it or not.
Oh my God.
When Cliff was still alive. I saw Metallica open for Ozzy, and it was literally like a month before Cliff died.
Jesus.
I saw Metallica open for Ozzy, and we were walking where the arena was. It's next to this bridge, and then across the bridge is where the McDonald's and Burger King was, and that's where everybody's parents used to pick them up. So we're walking down from the arena, and we're walking over the bridge, and I see the tour bus at the end of the bridge. It's going the opposite way, and it's stopped at the stoplight, and the door's open, and there's a guy hanging out the door just talking to people. I'm like, oh, what's going on down there? Like 16-year-old self. I'm like, oh, what's that? Holy shit, that's Lars. And I just take off. I leave my 3 friends. I'm just like, phew. They're like, where the hell's he going? And by the time they got down to the bottom of the bridge, I'm like, I just met Lars, man. And they're like, where was he? I'm like, that's where I was. What did you think? I just took off running like an idiot? I'm like, that's where I was running to. They're like, you saw him? I'm like, yeah, I saw him hanging out the side of the bus. So I ran down this ramp, and I got close enough to be like, Lars, that was a great show, man. He shook my hand. Said, thanks a lot, man. Got in the bus and left. And then I didn't have a run-in again with him until 2003.
Oh, wow.
when we were over there for Download. But now I was an established drummer in a band and not just, a Metallica fan.
Right.
So Shadows Fall was playing Download Festival, and Metallica was there as a surprise guest the next day. So that's where I had my first hangout party day with Lars, and then 2008 we did Ozfest, which was just a one-off in Dallas, and Metallica headlined that. And the night before was the rehearsal night, and they invited all the bands to the rehearsal. So you got a chance to watch the band do sound check, watch King Diamond, check with them because they were doing some Merciful Fate songs. And then they invited everybody to a barbecue after. It was only the bands that were on the headlining stage. Unfortunately, we were on the headlining stage. And I basically spent the entire night with Lars, just drinking wine and bullshitting and talking about drums.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then we had a good day the next day at the festival, and then I didn't see him again for 10 years until that picture I just took. And that's what he said to me. He's like, Jesus, I haven't seen you in what? I'm like 14 years, man.
Holy shit, dude. Dude, I mean, I don't get the
It started, but going back to that, it started with him, then it went to Lombardo, because the first time I heard Slayer, I was like, holy Christ. The first record I heard was Show No Mercy, so I was like, all right, whatever, it's fast. But then Rain and Blood came out 2 months later, and I was like, and I didn't know that there was a hell of wait. So I was just like, I'm getting these records from my friend who's like, you got to check out this Slayer band. And at the time, I was just so immersed into Metallica and Megadeth. I was like, whatever, it's just fast, and I don't like the singer. Little did I, 6 months later, these guys would become my favorite thrash band of all time. Including the singer. So anyways, when I heard Raining Blood, I was just like, forget it. Or Rain in Blood, the entire record. I was like,
yeah,
all right, this beats Lars. That's where I was. I'm like, all right, this is now I can barely play this fucking guy's songs, because at that time I could barely play Fight Fire with Fire. I could just get through it.
Yeah.
That or Trapped Under Ice. I could just get through the songs. I could be calling, I got through it tonight. I got to the end. And then I heard Angel of Death, and I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah, fuck
so,
that.
That took another 20 years of work. So then maybe a year later, Anthrax was coming through on the Among the Living tour. My friend's like, dude, if you like Charlie Benante, you got to go see this guy play drums. And I'm like, all right. And went, saw Charlie, and I still say the same thing that I literally told him in a text message 4 days ago. He's still my favorite thrash drummer and hero of all time. So
that's so cool, man. Charlie is a very underrated drummer.
Yes, he is.
I've
said this for fucking decades.
He really doesn't get the respect that he has ever deserved, and I hate that.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't. And I'm glad that he finally brought up the whole thing with the blast beat and hey, I did this many more years ago before it became so popular.
Yeah.
And he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Charlie was in kind of a category of his own for a bit. He was I think the forefront of what drumming was evolving into. It was more than just speed, it was technicality. And then you see drummers like yourself kind of pick up with that and run with it. And you also kind of carry the torch into that generation. That's what it is now.
His drumming is very intricate, and when you're really deep diving into those songs to learn them the way that I have, playing in various versions of the band over the years. I mean, the first time I filled in for him was 2005.
Yeah.
And, I spent more time in 2012 playing in Anthrax than he did. So when you deep dive into these songs, it's like you know the parts that you hear, the festival bass and the hands and all that. But when you deep dive into them, you hear shit that he's doing. You're like, God damn, dude! I thought it was hard enough, but now your hand's doing that, and every time you think it's done, 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 it's not. It's dun, 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 dun. And it's the right hand doesn't stop, and every time you think maybe that might be 2 feet. If you listen to his stuff and anytime go, I wonder if that's 2 feet. If you can do it with 1 foot, it's always 1 foot.
Mm-hmm. The cool thing with Anthrax is if you change the drummer, to literally anybody else, you won't have as impactful of a band as Anthrax is. They have a Their
Nope.
guitar parts are not necessarily the most difficult things ever written. They're typically like very punky, but Charlie adds so much behind the drums that it just creates like what the band
It's
actually
his
is.
swing and it's his feel.
Yeah.
And I actually, like when I was doing all those shows back though, you know, a decade ago when he was having the issues he was having and stuff. And I was in there for a while, like the whole Mayhem tour and then the subsequent Canadian tour. I know those inflections. I know how he approaches the drums live and tried to do that to the best of my ability too, like the push and pull. Like for instance, like we pull the chorus back on Indians, but then we
Mhm.
bump the verse up. You know, it's that push and pull that's in his playing, and I knew how to do that. And when we ended the Canadian tour, there was one night where me, Scott, and Frankie went out, and I had just asked them, you know, hey, you know, we've been doing this together like 3 months now. How did you know? How was it? And
Mhm.
what they told me at that point was Scott and Frankie said, hey, when you play with us, it sounds like Anthrax. So that was probably the biggest compliment I could have got.
That's awesome. That is a massive compliment. Um, yeah, that's sick, man.
And another one,
So
you know, and speaking of massive compliments, you know who gave me a massive compliment about Anthrax was Johnny Z.
really,
Yep, because Johnny Z saw me play with Anthrax 2 times, once in New York, and then once in Florida. And he told me, and he didn't even tell me when I was with Anthrax. He told me like years later when I was in Overkill, and
Mhm.
then I met him with the Overkill camp when him and Marsha came to a show, and he's like, "Why do I know you?" And I go, "I filled in for Charlie back in 2012, and you had mentioned that I was a good drummer." You're like, "That's it, that's it." He's like, "Yes, yes," and he's like, "You're not a good drummer. You're a fucking awesome drummer. To be in that band, you need to be an awesome drummer." That's what he said to me. So I was like, this is the guy that started the label that started also, you know, he kind of knows.
So you said that you did the Mayhem Fest for Charlie in 2012?
I did that tour, yeah. Yep.
So I didn't know you were on that tour. I was at the Connecticut date for that, and that was the first time I ever saw Anthrax.
Rained like a
Um,
bitch that day.
it sure did.
That was the
But
last day of the tour.
was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool,
Yep.
man.
I remember that because my friends were coming to pick me up, and I remember loading all my shit off the bus in the pouring rain. I'm like, oh, this sucks.
I remember that day I was standing out in the field and we were watching I think it was As I Lay Dying, and just a fucking big lightning bolt touches backstage. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be bad. But caught Anthrax, and then we went under the main stage area to get out of the rain. And
I'm
then
holding back from making a terrible joke right now.
go for it.
Well, you just said you're on stage watching Who, and a giant lightning bolt came down. God still didn't strike him down then. It ain't going to strike him down for trying to kill his wife either, is he? The guy's still got a career. I don't understand it. But anyways.
Dude, I don't know how he still has a career. It's hanging on by a thread. I don't know anyone that's still supporting the
I
band.
don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Anyway.
Dude, yeah, I mean the whole As I Lay Dying thing is fucked. I like kudos to the guys for welcoming him back, giving that second chance. It was cool, but like after everything that came out last year too, I truly don't know how he still thinks he's gonna come back and do this shit. Like he'd be lucky to play in small
Yeah, but you know
clubs,
what's
but
going
I
to happen? You know what's going to happen? He probably is. And he's probably still going to get better spots next year on festivals than Shadows Fall again. So, you know what I mean? So,
damn dude, that was personal.
yeah, whatever. Dude, at this point in the game, just for I have no jealousy or like, oh, why do they get the slot and we got the shitty slot? Look, if they asked us to play the festival and we're there, that's
Yeah.
a bonus. It's a bonus, you know,
Yeah.
because there's so many bands nowadays. Just to be asked to be on one of these large festivals is a good thing. Who cares if you're opening the stage? Are you there? Yeah. There's a lot of bands that aren't going to that festival.
Right.
So just be happy you're there.
Speaking of the big festivals, I was just talking to Tyler from Prong before, and he's
Who?
Tyler.
Who? Oh, I'm saying that I love Tyler. I bust his balls all the time. I've known
So
Tyler for quite some time. Quite some time. Ask Tyler when he's gonna finally give me the money for the drum set he's gonna buy off me. He's been telling me he's gonna buy my old Red Tama kit for about 10 years now.
yeah, he's been telling me the same shit.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, what was he saying? I'm watching the tour. I'm keeping an eye on those guys.
So he's having the time of his life right now.
I know he is. I know he is.
He played
And he
Vakken a
should be.
couple
He's
weeks
playing the
ago.
greatest prong album ever, Cleansing.
Dude,
So
yeah, honestly.
I was lucky because when I did the tour in 2023, we did a lot of songs off that album, and that's my favorite prong album. So good for him.
Yeah, I forget.
He's crushing it too, Tommy. So that's great.
I forget what festival they're at today, but he was telling me that he's watching like Machine Head in a little bit. He's gonna get to watch like Gojira. He's living the life, man.
Yep.
He's someone who's so appreciative of the opportunity to just be there that it's not wasted on someone like him, you know? He's not one of those people that's gonna be like, oh, I got the shitty slot. He's like, no, I'm fucking here.
Yeah,
I'm living my dream.
He is there. Look at his whacking post like 3 days ago. He's like, all my life
dude.
I've dreamed of playing this festival.
Yep.
My dreams came true. And I had the same dream with him in 2022 with Overkill, but I mean, it was my dream to play whacking, but our show was fucking horrendous, sadly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't due to our fault. We lost the airline lost all our luggage going there. Like literally, Blitz and Derek were still in the clothes that they wore on the plane. We had like none of our gear. We had to borrow a guitar. It was a cluster F of epic proportion. I was like, yeah, I finally get to play this one, and it's like, all right, let's pray this one's gonna go good.
Dude, a friend of mine came from Pennsylvania to go to the Back to the Beginning show last month or earlier this month. Same shit happened to him. He was there, I think, for 6 days. So he and his girlfriend traveled across to Europe. Airline lost their luggage. His luggage wound up somewhere in Texas. Hers ended up somewhere in Jersey. They got their luggage back the day they were leaving to come home.
That happened to me. That happened to me when I went to, and you know what's funny? They were going to back to the beginning. So that means they were going to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where I was going back in 2008. I had to go over to UK I was doing a 5-day drum clinic tour, and it started in Birmingham. And fortunately it was ending in Birmingham as well. I was like somewhere very close by, but I was still flying out of Birmingham.
Yeah.
Lost my luggage on the way into the show, on the way into Birmingham. Got to Birmingham, had no fucking clothes. Had to literally sacrifice the morning of sleep I was going to get ready for the show later, to go out into town to buy clothes. Just all right, I need a pair of shorts. I need something to play in. I need a few pairs of underwear. I need something to wear for the next few days to get through it.
Right.
I had none of my gear. I'm borrowing a double pedal off Greg Bissonette. I'm borrowing sticks off Carmine a piece. I'm like, I'm a mess here.
Yeah.
When did my luggage show up? The day I got back to Birmingham to leave. It was waiting
God.
at the airport. Awesome.
Dude, and see, now people ask me, why don't you ever fly? Because fuck that. Yep. I'm gonna keep my bag with me. I'm gonna stay on the ground. I don't need to fly.
At least now with AirTags, I can keep an eye on shit, and then I can be like this. Oh, great! It's still in Newark. Awesome, and we're in Luxembourg, or wherever you are. At least you know where it is. Well, it says it's still sitting there in Newark, so
right. So
that's probably even worse than wondering if it's going to show up when you see that. No, it didn't even get on the plane.
Right.
Go back there.
It's not even in the same state that we fucking left from.
Exactly.
So I wanted to ask you about Category 7. So now that is a super group if there ever was one. The first time I heard about it, I was with Tyler at MetLife when you were doing the Overkill show.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys were playing, and like I saw a thing from Loudwire, and it was like the official announcement of Cat 7. I was like, holy fuck, this is gonna be huge. Mike Orlando and Phil Demmel are two of my favorite guitarists, like bar none. And like I knew this was gonna be something I couldn't wait to actually hear. And once it dropped, man, it was massive. Um,
Thank
what
you.
what is like what led that to become like how did that group come together? Because it's a very eclectic group of people.
It did. That came together um, primarily out of three guys who wanted to do something where they were pretty much calling the shots and not having to follow the direction of other people.
Makes sense.
Okay? Phil was coming from a long period of, where he
Yeah.
was. Mike was where he was. I was where I was. It basically came down to one night when Phil was filling in with Overkill. We played a show in Jersey and we went over to Dingbats afterwards. And Mike met us out and we had a couple drinks and we were just bullshitting. Hey, you want to do something? Yeah, let's write some music. I got free time, you got free time, we got free time. Let's write some music, because I was
Hmm.
still in Overkill, but Shads were doing what we were doing. We still didn't know what we were going to do as far as like we're going to write new music or anything. We were still just playing a couple reunion shows and taking it one step at a time.
Hmm.
So we started throwing some ideas around, and then we started talking about, well, if we're going to do this, who we want to have for, bass and drums. So we had a few names on the short list for bass, and I said, let me reach out to Jack. And in the meantime, Phil was reaching out to John Bush because we had a short list of singers too. So Phil was going to reach out to John. I was going to reach out to Jack. I was a little premature with Jack because I said, hey, you want to, I was already assuming that John was going to say yes, let's say, hoping John was going to say yes. So when I reached out to Jack, I go, hey man, I got a thing to run by you. Give me a ring when you get a chance. So when we were on the phone, I said, well, me and Phil and Mike Orlando are going to do this little project, and we think that how the hell did I get that scratch? I don't recall that being getting scratched by the cat. I was farting around in my basement. I'm looking at it right now because I'm like, all right, when's the last time I got a tetanus shot? Anyway, drummer dies in the middle of the podcast. What was I saying? So anyway, so I said to Jack, I go, we're working on this music, and I said, and we're pretty sure that the guy in Armored Saint's going to sing, and he goes, I'm down. So that's pretty much how
That's a hard
came,
sell.
that came together. It pretty much, we just said, hey, you want to do this? Yeah, let's do this. So then we started writing some songs, and it just kind of snowballed. And then we had a record, and then we had a succession of 2 canceled tours, which really fucking sucks. But
Yeah.
that's just the way the ball rolled. I mean, we couldn't really have had any more bad luck happen to us, like with the unveiling of the record. Like, it just didn't work out for us. Like, Phil was
Yeah.
busy with Kerry King, so he couldn't just get on the road. We had this tour plan, but it's still just scheduling conflicts fucked it up. And then the next thing you know, it's being, low ticket sales are the reason why they canceled. No, the reason why we canceled is because we couldn't get it together. We couldn't get 5 guys who could go for the 3 weeks at
Yeah.
that period of time. And then, so, the concentration was, all right, we got to focus on this year. We got to do something. So we had Sonic Temple, but then unfortunately, here comes Jason. Sorry, Shadows Fall is going on tour with Killswitch at the same time. So we couldn't do the Sonic Temple date. And unfortunately, it wasn't the same day that I was already going to be there, or maybe the day after when I was still there. It was on a Sunday when I was already in a different state.
Hmm.
So we knew we had the South American tour that had come down the pipe, but we were still very skeptical of it because if anybody knows anything about going to South America, the promoters are very sketchy down there, and you don't go anywhere until you're paid. You
Hmm.
don't go with the promise of we'll pay you when you get there. No, F you. We're not getting on a plane until we get paid.
Hmm.
That's the deal. And We had this tour planned for July, which is why we said, all right, well, let's do a warm-up show, which is why we played the Whiskey on Monday night, June 30th.
Yeah.
Do you think we wanted to do our debut show on a Monday night?
Hell no.
Absolutely not. Hell no. The only reason why we did that was supposed to be a warm-up for the tour. But then in the process of the last 3 weeks, the guy who was supposed to send us a 25% deposit on, it was, I think, March 1st, never sent it. Then it's supposed to be another 25 by April 1st. Never sent it. So the 50, now we got 50% that was never there. And then the other 50 was supposed to come on June 1st. Never there. So he was in breach of contract not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Jesus.
Finally, we said, look, either you wire the money to the account tomorrow or we're not coming. We're not,
Right.
oh, don't worry, it's going to work out. No, it's not going to work out. We're not. Who do you think you're dealing with? We've all been in the business for 40 fucking years, all of us at least, per guy, like per guy. So this isn't our first rodeo. So we said no, and we're like, that's it. So we pulled out. We pulled out of the tour. We're like, we're not going to go and lose money. So at that point, we're like, well, are we going to cancel the whiskey show? And we're like, because John asked, he's like, well, are we going to cancel the show? And we're like, no, we're not.
No, why cancel that?
Because we're not going to make a cent doing it, because we didn't. Everything went to the expenses of me and Mike getting to the West Coast, Phil coming down from San Francisco, Jack coming in right from Europe, right to rehearsal, literally got off the plane from Europe after an Exodus tour, came right to rehearsal and played the next day. I mean, he wins the VIP hands down.
Yeah, for real, man.
But the point was we stuck it out and we did it so we could finally get on stage and say, look, we're a fucking band. We're not just a project. We are a band. This is what we can do live. And I think that we proved it with our live show. I think the show went great. People loved it. Was it sold out? No, but for a Monday night, it was pretty packed.
Which is what you want for a Monday night.
It was. So now we said, all right, we're going to up from the ashes. We keep moving forward. So now the next thing is the Headbangers Boat with Lamb of God in October. That's what we have next. We're on that. Sick. And then we have a show in Florida in Pompano Beach at Piper's on October 30th, which is the day before we leave for the boat. So we're doing a warm-up show before the boat. And then by now, because it's all over the internet, what we're doing in December.
The John Bush Anthrax shows, right?
Yes.
That's very cool, man.
Yes.
Only 3 shows, right? You got New York and a couple other dates?
3 shows right now. Where he just wants to dip his feet in the water. He wants to see how it goes. And then we're gonna move from there.
That's very cool.
Just see what happens with these, and so far they're over half sold out already, so that's great.
Oh shit, that's fucking incredible, man.
Yep. And we're 4 months away, so
that's pretty prime position, honestly.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. So what's going to happen is Category 7 is basically going to open the show.
Oh, cool.
But we'll do like a half an hour set, and then probably maybe like the instrumental to bridge it to the John Bush Anthrax years. Because really, the only guy that has to leave the stage is John.
Yeah, true.
we're all still on stage. The only thing that's going to happen is the Category 7 banner is going to come down, and the John Bush one's going to go up. That's about it. They're already talking about like, well, how much time are we going to take an intermission? I'm like, what do we need? 5 minutes just to drop the one backdrop and put the other one up, take a drink? All right, let's go. Hey, we're this band. Change your clothes.
I'd say the breakdown and setup is pretty fucking easy on that one.
Exactly. Yep. So we're very excited about that.
That's awesome, dude. You guys deserve it, man. I mean, it's a project that's been in the works now for years, and it just seems like every single time, like you were saying, every time something is going, it falls back, and like, you guys deserve better than that.
Thank you. And we also think that maybe, I think that we fell through the cracks a little bit with this, and I think that people do think supergroup and they're not going to play live, but I really think that this John Bush experience thing is going to help Category 7, because if we're still part of the show and we're still playing our music before we do that section of the show, it's still going to be, we're out there touring anyways.
People will really see what you guys are all about.
Yep.
Funny story about Mike Orlando, dude. This guy, I met him. I was in a band a while back. We opened for Adrenaline Mob. Mike was the coolest fucking guy to me. We took pictures backstage, hung out, and a few
Mike's
months
sweetheart.
later, a few months later, it was the final Mayhem Fest that like kind of shit the bed in a big way. But it was at Jones Beach up in New York, and Kerry King was doing a signing. And at this signing, I noticed off to the side Mike Orlando's there, and no one's talking to Mike. I don't think anyone knew like who Mike was at that point because Adrenaline Mob was in between their first two or three albums. I'm the one that went over to Mike. I was like, dude, I can't believe you're here. Like, Mike is one of the most insane guitarists that I've ever heard live. I don't know how he does the shit that
Mike
he
is one of the
does.
most insane guitar players I've ever played with. Just every aspect about him, his playing, his writing, the way he just comes up with shit, just like that. You know, the
Yeah.
only other guy, he's like, I mean, he can come up with shit on the spot like that. Like if Phil has something, and obviously he's like, all right, just give me 1 second. All right, how about that? Like he's the only other guy I ever worked with, aside from Marty Friedman, that can
Hmm.
just fucking turn it on. Like I got it. Yeah, here it is.
You know, Marty,
I did a record with Marty, and I just like sat there the whole most of the time, just going,
Marty's
"What the
not human.
what the what the?" He just pulled that out of his ass. Like Jesus Christ, what's gonna happen if he actually tries? Like
Right.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if he's just like, let me just come up with something. If he actually tries,
Mhm.
like, oh my god,
Yeah, dude. The first time I saw Mike play live, I was like, I don't even understand what I just saw happen. Like
yeah.
he did a thing, the noise came out, nothing computes in my head of what just happened, but like, dude, he is such an insane guitarist. And Phil too, man. Phil, like I said before, one of my all-time favorite guitarists. Like the work he did with Machine Head inspired me to do so much more shit with how I was playing.
You,
Um,
you know what I think? What I think is cool about Category 7 is everybody in this band can play their ass off as an individual, but I
mhm.
don't think in the band we do that to each other. I think we're pretty cognizant of what's happening in the midst of everybody being together as a unit and
Yeah.
not playing over each other.
Hmm. Yeah, I noticed that with the songwriting, everything was very complimentary to each other's parts. Like no
Yep.
one was trying to outperform or outdo anybody. There's no ego. It's
I play,
just
dude, I really played a lot more drums on this record than I planned on. I had
yeah.
planned my first initial focus of on this record was to be more like Alex Van Halen, Vinnie Paul.
Mm,
And it just ended up being more Dave Lombardo, Charlie Benante. And it's only because like it would be like things where we'd be in the studio and I would just do something fucking around. I do some crazy filler, play double bass, and Mike would go, "Yeah, do that." I'm like, "Why?" And he'd always go, "Because John's not singing there." I'm like, okay. And
makes
then
sense.
Phil, and then there was a couple of days where Phil was there when I was tracking. He's like, "Well, how about a drum intro to this? How about a drum intro to this? How about a drum fill here?" I go, "Phil, how many songs are we gonna have with drum intros?" I'm like, not that I'm like, against it, but like, all right, let's come up with a couple cool ones, but not every song has to start with the drums. But like, just my point was both of those guys pushing me to keep doing some more shit.
Hmm.
So, and the answer was always like, John's not singing here. John's not singing here. Okay. Are you soloing here though? No. Okay. Are you soloing here though? Yes, but this will sound cool with what I'm doing. Okay. Because there was like literally some things where Mike would make me go back and play the drum parts to what he was playing rhythmically in the solo.
Yeah.
Like, um, it's in the end of the guitar solo in White Flags and Bayonets. And he does this thing where he goes, and it goes on for like 16 measures. And he goes to me, and I'm just playing, I'm just playing along, right? And he's like,
Right.
"Yeah, but you should play double bass with my hand doing that through that whole time." I went, "What?" And then I started doing the part, and I went, "Oh, motherfucker." I said, "You just put this song from fairly easy now to challenging." And not that I mind that, but like almost I had a problem when I went in to record this record too. There's always like every record I do, there's usually like I call them the warm-up songs. All right, these ones are kind of easier. Let's start with these, get the blood flowing. I
Yeah.
couldn't find any easy ones with them. This. And I'm like, oh, this one's not too. It's not too fast. A little bit. Oh, but then there's that damn ham part in the middle. So it'd be things like that. Like, it would just be like, let's just go for it. And I'd know within one take of whatever song. I'm like, no, this one ain't working. Let's move on. Go to this song or whatever. But the beauty of doing it at Mike's Studios, we got all the stuff there. It's not like we're paying for time. We can, take as much time as we need.
Yeah, a friend of mine, I forget the name of the band, but he just recorded a Sonic Stomp with Mike, and he loved it. He said it was a great experience, and the end product was fucking phenomenal too. I wish I could remember the name of his band though, but they have like a real like kind of more of a hard rock and roll kind of feel. It was really cool. But yeah, dude, that's cool. That's great that it was a good challenge for you. It's good that like you guys are pushing each other, and like I said, the end product of that was incredible. Like it's exactly what I would have expected out of a record like that. Um, given who's actually playing on that record.
Yeah.
Um, so now I also wanted to ask you, how does it feel having Shadows Fall back on the road, like doing this thing kind of basically full time now?
Fucking awesome. And I wish we could use the words full time, but it's still gonna be like part time, full time. That's real. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm calling it. I'm calling it part time, full time,
Okay.
because it just doesn't seem right now. Without a product, we don't have tour opportunities. I mean, it's
Right.
understandable. We don't have a product yet. Next year, that'll be another story. So we know we'll have options for next year. But right now, we're just holding out for either like maybe some of these bigger gigs that we get, or festival gig, or a hometown show, or whatever. But right now, we're concentrating on finishing the new music. That's what has to happen.
Hmm.
So, you've heard 2 songs already that we've
Yes.
released: "Souls Devoured" and "In the Gray." So we initially went in and did a small batch of songs that Brian is finishing up finishing up the vocals on as we speak. Like we just had a couple days of vocal tracking after we had the last show in July with Hatebreed. So Zeus is working on that right now, so we should be finishing that up. I just went and tracked another batch of songs, which are on the next batch of songs, and I believe Matt, John, and Paul will be in the studio in September. Right now, the problem is Zeus. Zeus is so booked, it's not even funny. The first thing is Zeus is basically on call with Rob Zombie. That is his main job. So if Zeus is even on a session and Zombie calls and goes, "I don't care that you're with Queensryche today, you have to come to Connecticut tomorrow," he has to leave and go to Zombie. That's his deal. So when Rob calls, he goes. So his first schedule is Rob. His second schedule is Jamie, because they're doing the new Hatebreed record right now. Even though Hatebreed's on tour, Jamie's still crazy with, "I'm home for one day and we're gonna let's book the studio for one day." And Zeus will even tell him, he's like, "Are you out of your mind, dude? Like you're going from one 7-week tour to another one. And you want to come in the studio and sing on the one day you have off?"
He's a workhorse.
He is a workhorse. And that's why he does what he does. So then we're working around that. And then now he's got Queensryche in the studio. So let's go back a couple months where I was with him doing the new Heathen record, which he had to force in there somewhere too.
Yeah.
Cragen called me to do the record, and he goes, "When are you going in to do your Shadows Fall stuff?" I go, "I have no idea. Zeus's schedule's so messed up." He's like, "Because we want to move forward with getting you to do the full length." And I'm like, "All right." We're literally talking about trying to do it all in once, like me do my 5-6 Shadows Fall songs and do 13 fucking Heathen songs all at one time. Thank God we didn't do that. That would have been 6 days of hell. So anyways, we got a chance to get with Zeus for 4 days. We got that record done. But as soon as he was done with that, he was right to Jamie. And then he was like, "I got Queensryche coming in." So then what happened when Category 7 lost the South American tour, I then called him up. I'm like, "All right, well, I'm home in July now." I said, "As soon as that Springfield show is over, we can go at any time now and get this stuff done." He's like, "Dude, you're killing me. Between you and Josta and now Queensryche's coming in, and like literally, like we finished, we went in, we did the Shad stuff the day before. Cragen calls me. He goes, "You're going in with Zeus, right?" And I go, "Yes." And he goes, "Can I send you one more original and 2 covers?" I go, "Bro, are you out of your mind?" I'm like, dude. Like, and we had 3 days, so in case we had some technical difficulties, we could just, take our
Yeah.
time and cruise. No, now we're cruising through. Let's get 3 songs done the one day. Now we gotta get 3 songs the next day. Now we gotta do 2 covers on the last day, but we got it all done. So now he's in there with me. I do all the shad shit. I do 3 more songs for Heathen. We pack up and he goes home and he goes, great. Now I got to clean my house and go pick up Queensryche in the morning from the airport. I go,
Never stops, dude. Never
no,
stops.
no. And I thought the band was coming in to start recording the record. And he goes, they're staying with me. I go, they're recording the record and they're staying with you. He goes, no, it's just Michael and Eddie coming to write. And I go, oh. And I go, I love Casey and all, but you sure you don't want to leave these drums up and I should stay a few days? We're just joking around. He goes, oh my God, that'd be hysterical. So I texted Todd. I go, yo, I'm going to leave the drums up and help you guys out for a couple days. Totally bullshitting. But just my point. It's like, guy couldn't even get a moment's peace. He's like, all right, I got to go home and clean my house now so I can go pick up Queensryche in the morning.
Yeah, dude,
Feast or
Zeus.
famine, man. It's feast or famine.
Zeus has the reputation he has for a reason.
Yeah. But it's not, but to answer your question, it's awesome for us to be out and to be able to do that again. I like the one-offs and the festivals are one thing, but I wasn't certain we'd ever be back in a tour bus again doing an extensive run. And when I mean my extensive is more than 2 shows in a row, because that's all we had done in a row at that point. We did the 2 War Within shows in March of, like, I think last year.
Mm-hmm.
Was it last year or the year before? No, it was the year before because it was 2024. So, but aside from that, that was 2 shows in a row. We hadn't played any more than 2 in a row. Now we had a tour where we actually had to play 4 shows in a row before a day off. So it was nice to go out and play 10 shows, be away for almost 2 weeks. I said to John, like the first night we got in the bus, I grabbed him. I put my arm around. I go, did you ever think we'd fucking ever be back in a bus doing this again? He's like, no. I go, me neither. I said, feels good, doesn't it? He goes, yeah.
That's
so
really cool,
it's just nice to have the family back together. And because we took, aside from our drum tech and our guitar tech, we had all our old crew guys, that are our old merch guy, our old light guy, our old TM, our old sound guy. So it's like, it's family,
Mm-hmm. That's
So
actually really cool, man, to hear that from your perspective, to hear the whole, like, the families back
I
together
don't
doing
take
the
it for
thing
granted,
again.
man. Any moment that I can go out and we can still do this and we can play, I'm very, very thankful for at this point.
That's really cool to hear that.
Yep.
It you, as a fan, you get this image of bands that's like, yeah, it's just another day on the grind. But, like, to hear that, like, you guys really truly appreciate this for what it is, like, that's an awesome thing to
Now
hear.
we do. I can't tell you that back in 2009 or 2010 that we
Well,
were feeling exactly that. Yeah, we're on the fucking grind. This is fucking,
I
But
mean,
when
back
you're
then,
doing it for a number of years straight with no breaks, and then,
yeah, it's just
something's got to give.
it's cool to hear the appreciation of it that you have.
Absolutely. It's
That's
back. It's like we want to savor the moments and have them all be good instead of getting back to the point of taking shows just to take them or anything like that. We're not doing any of the stupid shit we did before.
Yeah. So
We hope.
speaking of the moments, what
Yep.
would you say? What's your favorite Shadows Fall song to play live? Like, what do you feel like the crowd pops the loudest for?
There's a lot of those songs. Power of I and I always gets people going. Thoughts Without Words always gets people going. The Light That Blinds is a song everybody knows because of the intro with the drums and the guitar and everything, and Guitar Hero. Public Execution's one that the pit used to get pretty brutal on too. King of Nothing's also a good one for the swirly bird of the crowd.
That's pretty dope, man. What's what's the song that, like, makes you the happiest to play? Like, what's your favorite moment in a live show?
I don't know. That's a hard call. There's a lot of those. Like, Fire from the Sky is one of my favorite songs to play. So that's always a high point for me in the set. Power of I and I is still a favorite too. I liked going back and doing the War Within stuff because they're the full album, because it was nice to play Those Who Cannot Speak live,
Yeah.
because that was always one of my favorite songs. Eternity is Within is a great song too. But now, to be honest with you, I really, really enjoy playing Souls Devoured, because that's
Yeah.
like my new favorite song.
It's a
It's one of my
monster
favorite
track
songs
too.
we've done too.
The footwork on that song is fucking incredible.
The song's fucking hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking hard. And I realized on tour I was playing it too fast because I was struggling with it a couple nights. Like, I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And then I would listen back to the boards, and I'd be like, dude, you're like 10 BPMs faster than the record. The fucking recorded version is fast enough. That's where it needs to stay. Like,
Yeah.
that's the comfortable tempo. I can play that, no problem. Just played it yesterday in the garage, no problem. Because
Mhm.
I was starting to get them, like fixated on it. Like, what the hell's going on here? So the last time we played it live, which was at the Lamb of God Hatebreed show, I actually played it to the click,
Okay.
and I was fine. I was like, all right, this is what needs to happen. I need to have the reins on. Because it doesn't matter. Because most of the time I'll use it. I'll look down. I get my tempo going. I get my hi-hat going with my foot, and I shut it off. I need the opening tempo. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go.
Right.
I already jumped it up, So, so then when I get to the verse and I got to go, I'm like, why does this suck right now? So yeah, I've realized that John has definitely pushed me on a couple of the songs on this record to the definitely the tops of my speed abilities, which I guess is pretty good, because I didn't think that at 55 years old I was going to be putting out two of the fastest songs that I've recorded with this band, and I will be. That one and the one of the ones that we just recorded the other day.
Damn. I can't wait to hear it, man. I was honestly surprised the first time I heard Souls Devoured. I was like, that's so fucking fast, and it's so like it's not little bursts. Like it's a long time that you got to keep that consistency going, and like
Mm-hmm.
man,
And you know what? And you know what's funny too is, as I mentioned this, I was playing through it yesterday, and I was like concentrating on the verses. I'm like, all right, well, good. Yeah, it's only the two verses. Then once you get through the two verses, it's easy. Oh no, then there's the middle section. I forgot all about that. It just goes right back to it. You could have just gone. Wouldn't have the same impact though.
well, it's a hell of a song, dude, and I have such high anticipation for this album.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming for a Shadows Fall album, so like I'm hype as a fan. I'm very excited for this. I've also never seen Shadows Fall live, so I'm waiting for that tour to come through.
And where do you live?
Long Island.
All right.
So the city is not inaccessible, but it's a bitch sometimes.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Totally.
But I'm just keeping my eye on the clock here because I know we don't have a whole lot of time left. But
That's all good. I thought I was meeting my wife in 15 minutes, but I guess I'm not. I think her plans have changed by the text that I got. So
no.
Until I hear any different, I'm good to sit here.
All right. So I wanted to ask you next. What is the best piece of advice that you were given as a professional musician?
Well, to sum it up, if it's what you're put on this earth to do, and if it's what makes you happy, continue doing what makes you happy. And
Pretty
don't
sad.
worry about the financial aspect of it.
Yeah, that's true. Excuse me. Throat's a little dry. Give me 1 sec.
Be thankful for what happens in this business.
Yeah. I mean, you've been lucky enough to have yourself surrounded with high caliber musicians I mean, forever at this point. Some of the people that you've looked up to becoming friends of yours, and like
A lot of those.
it's got to be a very humbling but great feeling knowing that you've made it to that point where now you're someone who is looked up to like you looked up to Lars or
Yep.
Neil or
Yep.
um it's cool to
That's
like
still the crowning moment of my career is meeting and becoming friends with Neil Peart. I know it
oh,
sounds
you met him.
silly. I was friends with him for 10 years.
Oh shit.
I know it sounds silly with all the things that I've done in my career, but that to me is the crowning moment for me because he was my hero, and to become friends with him and be in his inner circle, and knowing how difficult it was to be in his inner circle, meaning like he didn't open up to very many people. I was
Yeah.
very, very, very lucky with that, and that is still like something that I hold near and dear.
From obviously I don't have that aspect. I just know what, the media fucking regurgitates, but it
Yeah.
came across that Neil was a very, very private person, very secluded, very like he didn't do interviews or any of that kind of stuff.
No, he left that
Um,
up to Alex and Getty. He was very private.
so to hear that you were able to be on the other side of that, that's very, very cool.
Yeah, it
Um,
was it was crazy. The first time I met him, I called Mike Portnoy. I'm like, it's gonna happen, dude. It's gonna happen. And he's like, whatever you do, don't talk about drums. I'm like, I know, I know. He's like, don't talk about drums unless he brings it up. I'm like, I know the prerequisite. I know what to do when I meet him. You don't. Hello, sir. How are you? Don't bring up drums. Wait till he does. And sure as shit, I didn't bring up drums. By the end of my first 20 minutes with the man, he was on his drum set. He was on his practice kit in his dressing room,
wow.
showing me what he was working on in his lessons with Peter Erskine. And I'm like, well, I guess we can talk about drums now.
I guess the door's open at that
The
point.
door's open. He kicked it open.
Also, the fact that you just casually throw Portnoy's name in there, dude. Portnoy is a fucking god. Also,
Mike
one
and I
of
are very close. And at that point, we had just done it was shortly after we did this. There used to be a magazine in the UK called Rhythm.
Mhm.
And Mike had Mike was on the cover, and it was Mike interviewing his heroes, three of his heroes, and it was Neil, Nick Mason, and the third one is escaping my mind right now. He's probably gonna get mad at me, but it was Neil, Nick Mason, and someone else.
Mhm.
And then the Mike Portnoy interview was done by an up and coming drummer, and that was me.
Oh, cool.
So we had just come off this thing where I had gone to his house and I did the interview with him. That was going to be his interview section. And he was telling me, hey, had just come back from Canada. He did the Neil interview. So it was all this talk. We had already been talking about it. And he knew that I was going to go see them like in a month. He's like, well, let me know what's going to happen. And then like, as soon as I got the call from Paul Siegel from Hudson Music, I called Mike. I'm like, Paul just called me. I'm going up in like an hour.
Wow.
And he's like, just don't talk about drums. I'm like, I know. He's like, text me and let me know how it goes. I'm like, I will.
That's really cool that you got to befriend Neil.
It was
Um,
great. It was awesome.
so now, have you? I mean, you've obviously Lars and Charlie and Dave and like, is there anyone else left for you that you want to meet that you haven't gotten the opportunity to?
Yep. Alex Van Halen.
Oh shit. Okay.
Still never met Alex Van Halen.
Hmm.
Out of all my heroes that are alive, he's the only one left. He's the only one left. I don't
Is
think there's anybody else on the roster that I haven't met that I would like to meet.
Wow.
Like I pretty much know all my heroes or have met them.
That's cool as shit, dude.
Yep.
Alex, he's another one who's pretty private, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He's he's a monster, and he's another one that I feel like he never truly got the respect that he deserves for the shit that
Nope.
he did.
Nope. Because
Hmm.
because his fucking brother was Eddie.
Well, yeah.
I, to an extent, I feel bad for Vinnie Paul. It's the same damn thing. Like your brother's getting more attention than you are. But it still doesn't matter because it still was the team of brothers that made
Yeah.
that music. And the same thing with Pantera. It was the two of them were the salt and pepper that made that shit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Funny that you mentioned that because David Lee Roth is playing 90 minutes down the road tonight at Turning Stone, and I was
Oh
gonna
yeah.
go. We are gonna go. We are gonna go. We're having it haunted about it. And I looked. I'm like, how much? My wife's like, how much are the tickets? I'm like, $100.
Oof.
She's, we gotta drive 90 minutes there. $100. Drive 90 minutes home. And I'm like, it's the last bastion of Van Halen we'll ever see, though. I mean, this is it. There's nothing left. And then my level head prevailed yesterday. I went online. I watched some of one of his shows, recent, last couple of days, and I'm like, it's not that he's bad or nothing. I'm like, all right, he's got this fucking guy up there. He's got this Alex Van Halen kid, but he looks like a chooch. Oh, fuck that. I'm not going. I'm just gonna remember seeing them in 2000, what the hell ever, the last year that they played, because I did see him with the brothers and with Wolf. I didn't see the real band. The
Yeah.
only real I saw Van Halen once with fucking Sharon singing. And aside from that, that's the only time I saw him was the last tour when I got a chance to see him with David Lee Roth. And that's still good enough for me.
I think I've seen them uh 3 or 4 times with Roth on the comeback. After like Different Kind of Truth came out. And like it was fine. It was good. Roth I think was the weak link, which sucks to say because he was such a phenomenal singer and performer back then, but like
Yeah, but there's still just something about him just being on that stage and just going,
yep.
That's enough for me. You could just
Yeah.
stand there with that glazed cocaine look on your face, even though you're not doing that anymore. But I mean, it's the same thing. Like, there he is, Diamond Dave.
I think that's what it is that like it's still the aura of Diamond Dave that's there.
Dude, there's never going to be another David Lee Roth.
No.
That's it.
That's 100% accurate. There will never be someone else like him.
Never going to be another Ozzy. Never going to.
No.
It's not.
And I heard Hagar is starting to wind down too with what he's been doing. Like he had the Van Halen, I forget what he was calling it, but it was like that resurgence project he was doing with Steve Vai and Michael Anthony, and I think that's starting to wind down because he can't tour anymore. Which, I mean, kind of sucks. Hagar, if the Back to the Beginning show is any indication, he can't really belt it the way he used to. But I mean, it's still that's still a part of Van Halen history. Michael Anthony is still a huge part of Van Halen history. But
this is where you can just mute me because Van Halen stopped for me at 1984.
Oof, not a Van Hagar fan, huh?
Van Halen stopped at 1984, and then it started again with a different kind of truth. Take it to Chinatown, yeah, David Lee Roth, all right.
Chinatown was a fucking banger too.
And it's an old song too.
But yeah, I mean, I
never was a Sammy fan. I like Sammy in Montrose. I like Sammy by himself. I just don't like him in Van Halen. I just don't know what it is. The same thing. I don't like Bruce Dickinson singing Paul Di'Anno songs. I don't like that either.
Yeah, that's a weird clash.
But Paul Di'Anno couldn't sing a Bruce Dickinson song to save his life. So
no, two very, very different styles.
Yep.
But yeah, and now Bruce is doing his own solo thing.
Kind of like the singer of the band that I'm backing up in December. Two totally different versions of that band that now I'm playing chapter 2 of. I mean, that's a weird thing for me because now I'm going back and learning all of Charlie's next, step of the career stuff, because all the stuff that I was playing, not that I didn't know some of those songs to begin with, but like all the stuff that I played when I was playing in the band was all Joey stuff. It wasn't any of John's stuff because Joey doesn't play John's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm down the rabbit hole again with, let's learn these 15 songs that I don't know. And just because he's not playing Million Mile Double Bass over here, his hands are going a million miles an hour. So it's still just as hard.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie's hands are weapons, dude. Like
they are. Yep.
A while back, I saw, I forget if it was, I think it might have been here. It was a Dream Theater tour, And Portnoy on that tour, every stop he'd bring up a couple of musicians or a couple of drummers and have them jam out on his huge ass kit. I think at this show was the guy from Iced Earth whose name is escaping me, and
Richard
Charlie.
Christie. I was
Yes.
just talking to him a couple days ago.
I'm pretty sure that they got on stage with Portnoy and they were all like fucking around with Maiden songs and shit. And, like, it was a cool
Yeah,
thing to
Richard.
say.
Richard did. They're all on. They're all on Mike's and Constant Motion DVD.
Yeah.
Richard's on there. Charlie's on there. I'm on there.
Hmm.
I forget who else. It might just be the three of us. It might just be the three of us. Yeah, and everybody did various songs, various covers, whatever.
Hmm.
Like you played pieces of Dream Theater songs and then pieces of covers. Like when Charlie did it with them, he played 6 o'clock with them. When I
Yeah.
did it with them, I did Under a Glass Moon, I think. And then the covers I played, I think we did one by Metallica, Raining Blood, and Hot for Teacher, maybe.
Mm.
I know we did Raining Blood because I remember both of us were struggling to play it, me and Mike, at the beginning, because I'm playing it on his kit, and I'm sitting over the drums because he sits like all the way up here and I
Yeah.
don't. I sit down here. So like I'm skied over the drums, so I can't play double bass as it is because I don't have any leg. I'm on my tippy toes. And he's on the other kit, but it's got the 26-inch bass drum with a double pedal, and he's trying to struggle along playing in a swamp playing it. So we're both looking at each other going, why did we pick this one? Good times.
That's
Good times.
fucking that's funny as shit. It's I love the fact that Portnoy always tries to make it an experience for the fans too. And but like you could tell that
Absolutely.
when he's doing that kind of stuff, he's having the time of his life too.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It's a very cool thing to be a fan to see. And he did the same thing. It was Progressive Nation, the first one that he did had three Opeth and Between the Buried and Me on it. And at one point he had just a whole like I would say maybe a 10-minute drum off between the four band's drummers. And then all of them hop behind his kit and play together. Like that kind of shit, it's fucking awesome. I would watch that every single show if I could. Like it's so much fun to see musicians collaborating with each other on that level.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
But
Starting to
yeah,
get blasted
man.
by the sun here.
What's up?
Starting to get blasted by the sun here. Where I'm sitting in the yard here. Starting to peek through the trees.
Yeah, I can see it's hitting you right in the eye.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Um, so now my last question for you really is every week I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcast, but I do a top 10 songs of the week every week for my listeners. I always include like three local or independent artists. Now I think that I want to ask you like if you could, what are let's say your top five songs that feel like have shaped you as a musician?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Angel of Death. Among the Living. Monument by Fate's Warning. Tom Sawyer by Iron Maiden. Tom Sawyer by Rush. And anything by Iron Maiden.
That's cool, man. Um, I mean, I already recorded this week, so this will probably come out next Friday, but I'm gonna include those songs in there too. Um, but
You
yeah,
can
man,
put in Where Eagles Dare because
dude, that and The Wicker Man are my favorite Maiden songs.
The Wicker Man.
The Wicker
That's
Man.
not something I expected to hear. Yeah, Where Eagles Dare and The Wicker Man. Wait, what? Well, at least you didn't say Where Eagles Dare and something off the X Factor. I like The Wicker Man. Don't get me wrong. Just that was just a weird one to hear. Like someone's like, "Yeah, my favorite song is Where Eagles Dare and Holiday by Name." Like, yeah, all right.
It's one of the first Maiden songs I heard. It was I think probably the first one that I heard double bass in too. But yeah, it grabbed me and never let go. Nico never used double bass.
Your information is wrong, my friend.
Nico single pedaled it, huh?
Nico used double bass on one song in his life.
Really?
One song. And I don't have that record in my iTunes. It's the second song off Brave New World.
Okay.
Wicker Man is 1 foot.
Wow.
Your time with freaking that's one damn foot.
That's consistent as fuck for 1
Because
foot,
he's got a killer right foot, which is why he only played double bass one time on that second song that I told you, and he said as soon as I did that, I put it away.
Wow.
Because the single kick thing, that's his thing. That was his thing for years. That was his thing. You know what? The funny thing that you mentioned that too is because one of these cover songs that I was just tracking the other day for Heathen was "The Prisoner," and and Nico busts my balls all the time about with Iron Maiden with double bass. It's like you don't play double bass in Iron Maiden. I know that. So knowing I have to cover this song, I'm in the studio. I take the left pedal off the kit and I'm holding it in my hand, and I take a picture of the kit of the drums where you can see the pedals clearly in my hand, and I go, tracking The Prisoner today for a client. Just wanted you to see that I'm only using single pedal. He just wrote back lovely with a smiley face.
Well, it's like a lot of the bands that cover Zeppelin that are incorporating double bass, but like in that sense, like
that's a fucking sacrilege right there.
Yeah, you don't do that.
You do not.
You either play like Bonham or you don't play
do
Bonham.
not. My bottom kit only has room for a Speed King. That's it.
You have a full Bonham kit?
I do.
Like the whole, like, I mean, I forget the setup. I think you had 2 floor toms, 1 rack, right? Then the bass drum.
Yep. All right, I'll take you on a walk and then we're gonna wrap it up because I just got a message and then I gotta wrap it up here.
Yeah, that's all right, man.
Hold on, because I take a walk through my dining room here. Hold on, I'm walking backwards as you can tell.
Oh shit!
There you go.
Very cool, man.
The other floor tom is underneath the table behind the 6 million cymbal bags, but yeah, it's just a 15. It's a 15 rack, 16 and 18 floors, and a 26-inch kick.
Wow.
Yep.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So this is basically just the land of all my fucking shit that I've accumulated for fucking a million years.
Oh
eventually, that's where all the boxes and shit that's behind me is eventually where my Neil Peart tribute kit's going to be set up. But three of those drums are still being painted in Florida right now.
And was that the red kit that Tyler's supposed to buy from you?
No, that's not the red kit. There's a difference. Those are red Neil Peart drums.
Yeah.
These are red Jason Bittner drums that Tyler was supposed to buy that are still sitting here.
Tyler, get on it, you piece of shit.
Get on it, dude. Spend that prong money you're going to be making.
Right. Well, he's got to spend that money.
His text back to me would be, you played it in prong before. You know what I'm making.
His prom money's going towards a new truck, if I'm not mistaken.
Good for him.
His truck just shit the bed on him a couple of weeks ago, like right before he left.
That's when it happens.
Yep, every time.
Yep, absolutely.
But dude, thank you so much for doing this. This has been an honor for me.
Sorry it was a pain in the ass getting it to happen, but we
not at all, man.
Happen.
Yeah, I'm glad you had some time today. Good luck with Category 7. Good luck with Shadows Fall, with everything you got going on, man. I can't wait to hear new music, and be safe out there, dude. And
well, you're in Long Island. That New York show's December 20th. It's not too far away.
That is not too far away at all. I'll see what I got going on, dude.
I already know that there's some special guests coming.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, I think. Who knows?
We'll see.
It's New York. There'll always be people in New York, right?
Dude, I mean, that's the damn truth. But, yeah, dude, thanks so much. Have a great afternoon. I appreciate you doing this, man.
No
Be
problem.
well.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Take care.
That's going to wrap things up for us today. Jason, thank you for coming on the show. Brother, it means the world to me that we were finally able to coordinate this and make it happen. You're awesome. I will see you at a show, hopefully very soon. For everyone in the New York area, December 20th, they're doing John Bush era Anthrax music. So Category 7 is going to open the show, as you just heard in the interview. Go check it out. Get your tickets. I'm probably going to try to go to this one. If I have nothing else happening that day, I might. But I will hopefully see you guys there. Jason, it was a privilege getting to talk to you for a bit, and officially welcome to the Face New Music family, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for your time and your support. Everybody who listens, all the interactions on social media, who tells their friends to listen. I love you all, and I appreciate you more than words can say. Again, the easiest and fastest and cheapest way for someone to support a friend or family member's business ventures is to just help get the word out. Now, I do this for everybody, so if you have anything that you need me to like or share or whatever, throw it at me. I will help you out. Whether this is a new band or a page for your podcast even, your endorsements, a baking business, if you started doing sourdough and cake pops like everybody else on the fucking island, whatever the case may be, it takes zero effort or zero time. It's free. Share the page, like and share a post. Tell your friends about the podcast, about any of the amazing bands that you heard on the show. The fact that I just had Jason Bittner on the show. A couple weeks ago, I had Chris Contos. Tell people about this shit. Stream the music that you hear on the Top 10's playlist. Expose yourself to all of the new music that I'm bringing your way. If you're watching on YouTube, crush the subscribe button. All of the stuff goes such a long way. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you again on the next one. You have been listening to the Face the Music podcast. Be well, everybody. Be safe, and I will see you again soon. Peace.